brakes scream. A banshee wail tearing through the fog on Highway 1. My hands claw the steering wheel, knuckles bone white as the car skids toward the cliff's edge. The Pacific roars below, hungry, its waves clawing at the rocks like they want to swallow me whole. I jerk the wheel left, tires shrieking against asphalt, and the SUV lurches back onto the road, shuddering to a stop. My heart hammers, each beat a fist against my ribs. I'm alive. Barely. I sit there, breath ragged, staring at the dashboard like it might confess who cut the brake line, because someone did. I know it, and deep down I know who. I'm Emma Carter, the tech heiress who built her family's empire from my laptop in a Mission District loft while they sipped champagne in their Pacific Heights mansion. For 8 years, I poured my fortune into their lives. Mortgage payments, designer wardrobes, private school tuitions, even the vintage Mustang my brother Lucas needed for his image. I was their ATM, their safety net, their silent savior, until the night an explosion turned their mansion to ash and they turned their backs on me. Now, I'm a ghost in their story, erased from their narrative like a typo. But I'm done being invisible. This is where it starts. My fight to reclaim my name, my truth, and maybe my life. The fog clings to the windshield like a second skin as I ease the car back onto the highway. My hands tremble, but I grip the wheel tighter, forcing focus. San Francisco's lights blur in the distance, a city that's both my home and a battlefield. I should have known something was wrong when the brakes felt soft, leaving the co-working space in Soma. I'd been there all day, hunched over my tablet, canceling every financial tether to my family. Bank accounts, car leases, the trust I'd set up to protect their assets. Each click felt like snapping a chain. But the brake pedal's mushy give, that was no accident. Someone wanted me off the board, permanently. I pull into a gas station lot, the neon sign flickering like a bad omen. My phone buzzes on the passenger seat. 82 missed calls. Margaret, my mother, leads with 24. Olivia, my sister, trails with 19. Lucas, always late to the party, has 12. The rest are cousins, uncles, even the neighbor who once borrowed my espresso machine and never returned it. Not one voicemail asks if I'm okay. Not one text wonders where I slept last night after Margaret slammed her Nob Hill mansion door in my face. They're all about money. Emma, the mortgage auto-pay failed. Emma, the credit line's frozen. Emma, call me now. I let the phone die, its screen fading to black. The silence is sharp, clean, like the air after a storm. 8 years ago, I was the golden goose, the Stanford dropout who turned a coding side hustle into a tech empire. My app, a financial planning tool for freelancers, sold for $12 million, 0 cents, when I was 23. I could have bought a yacht, a penthouse, a life of Instagram filters and private jets. Instead, I bought my family's approval. Or thought I did, paid off their $1,200,000, 0 cents Pacific Heights mortgage, covered Olivia's interior design career when her clients ghosted, and funded Lucas's real estate ventures that never closed a deal. I lived in a 600-square-foot loft with peeling paint and a leaky faucet, telling myself it was temporary, just until they're stable, Margaret would say, her voice honeyed over the phone. You're our rock, Emma. I believed her. I wanted to. The gas station clerk eyes me as I pay for a coffee, black and bitter like my mood. You okay, lady? He asks, his voice gravelly but kind. I nod, but my reflection in the glass door tells a different story. Dark circles under my eyes, damp hair plastered to my neck from last night's rain. I look like someone who's been running from something, or someone. I slide back into the car, the coffee burning my palm through the cup, the brake line. I can't shake it. I'd checked the car last week at a shop in the Castro. The mechanic, a guy with a handlebar mustache and a trust me grin, said everything was fine. Now I wonder if he was paid to lie, or worse. I drive to a Tenderloin motel, the kind where the neon vacancy sign buzzes like a trapped fly. The clerk doesn't blink at my soaked jacket or the duffel bag slung over my shoulder. He slides a key across the counter, room 204, and I climb the stairs, each step creaking under my weight. The room smells of bleach and stale dreams, the carpet stained, the bed sagging like it's tired of holding secrets. I lock the door, wedge a chair under the knob for good measure, and collapse onto the mattress. My phone, now charged, lights up again. Another call from Margaret. I let it go to voicemail, her voice seeping through like poison. "Emma, you're destroying us. Fix this now." I delete it without listening to the rest. Rewind to yesterday. The explosion. I'd been in a client meeting in Palo Alto when my phone pinged with an ex-post from a local news account. Pacific Heights mansion destroyed in gas explosion. My stomach dropped. I drove straight to the estate, weaving through traffic, my heart in my throat. The road was cordoned off, police tape fluttering like yellow ribbons. Fire trucks idled, their lights painting the ruins red and blue. The mansion, my family's pride, was a skeleton. Blackened beams, shattered windows, the white facade streaked with ash. I'd paid for every inch of that house, every chandelier, every marble countertop, and no one called me. Not Margaret, not Olivia, not Lucas. I had to call them. Margaret picked up on the fourth ring, her voice flat, like she was ordering takeout. "It's gone, Emma. The art collection, Olivia's gowns, Lucas's vinyls. Nothing left." I waited for her to mention the insurance I'd kept current, the premiums I'd wired monthly. Instead, she said, "Olivia thinks it was old gas lines. We told you that place needed work." My throat tightened. I'd offered to renovate years ago. They'd said it was fine, that I worried too much. Now it was my fault. Always my fault. I drove back to my loft, only to find it underwater. A fire in the next building had triggered the sprinklers, soaking my carpets, my books, my life. I stood there, ankle-deep in mildew, my clothes clinging to me like regret. No one to call, no one who'd come. So I drove to Margaret's new mansion in Nob Hill, a $3 million 0-cents fortress I'd co-signed for Olivia when her credit tanked. The rain was relentless, pounding the windshield like it wanted to break through. I parked in the stone driveway, my jeans heavy with water, and rang the bell. Margaret opened the door, her silk robe gleaming under the foyer chandelier. Olivia stood behind her, sipping rosé, her cashmere shawl draped like armor. "I need a place to stay," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Just a few nights?" Margaret's eyes narrowed. "This isn't a hostel, Emma. You're not some stray." I swallowed hard, the cold sinking into my bones. "Just until I find a new place." She waved a hand, dismissive. "Ask one of those startups you fund, or those cousins you bailed out." Olivia tilted her head, her gaze bored, like I was a rerun she'd already seen. "I didn't beg." I turned back into the rain, the door clicking shut behind me. The sound was final, like a gavel. Back in the motel, I stare at the ceiling, water stains blooming like ghosts. My mind replays a memory, sharp and uninvited. I was 16, hosting a charity gala for Margaret's social club. I'd spent hours crafting centerpieces, glass orbs filled with fairy lights, each one wired by hand. I'd watched YouTube tutorials, burned my fingers with a hot glue gun hoping for a nod, smile. When I set them on the tables, Margaret glanced over and sighed, "Why do you always overcomplicate things?" Then she called Olivia to showcase her floral arrangements, praising their elegance. My orbs were forgotten, dimmed by her indifference. That moment never left me. It's why I kept giving, kept paying, kept hoping. If I could just be enough, they'd see me. The motel's heater clicks on. a low hum that doesn't warm the room. I pull my laptop from the duffel bag, its hinge creaking as I open it. I log into Bank of America, Chase, PayPal, every account tied to my family. My fingers move with surgical precision, canceling auto-pays, freezing cards, deleting recurring transfers labeled family supposit. I pause at one. A $1,500, 0 cents monthly deposit to Margaret's account for household expenses. I'd sent it every month for years, no questions asked. I hit delete. The screen confirms. Transaction canceled. It feels like shedding a second skin, one I'd worn until it bled. My phone buzzes again. Lucas this time. I almost answer, but the memory of his voice stops me. "You're our rock, Emma," he'd say, right before asking for another loan. I let it go to voicemail. The brake line incident gnaws at me. I'd parked at a Soma garage yesterday, near the co-working space I'd donated $10,000, 0 cents to last year. The attendant had lingered too long near my car, his eyes darting to the side. Was he paid? By whom? Margaret's face flashes in my mind, her cold stare as she shut the door. Olivia's silence. Lucas's excuses. Any of them could have done it. All of them. I need air. I grab my jacket and step outside, the Tenderloin streets alive with noise, car horns, distant sirens, a man shouting at shadows. I walk to a diner across the street, its neon sign buzzing open 24/7. Inside, the air smells of grease and coffee, warm and unpretentious. I slide into a vinyl booth, order pancakes I don't want, and stare at the napkin in my hand. Instinctively, I fold it into a star, the way I did for that gala. No one notices, but I don't care. This one's for me. The waitress, a woman with freckles and a tired smile, slides a plate in front of me. "On the house," she says, nodding toward a booth by the window. "Guy paid for it, left this." She hands me a folded napkin. I open it, my breath catching. You were never invisible, no signature, no name. I glance at the booth, but it's empty, the man gone. My fingers trace the words, the ink smudged but certain. For the first time in years, I feel seen. Not by my family, but by a stranger who owed me nothing. Back at the motel, I lock the door and check my phone. A new text from Olivia. "Mom's lawyered up. Watch your back. No apology, no concern, just a warning, like I'm a rival in a boardroom, not her sister." I toss the phone onto the bed and open my laptop again. A local ex-post catches my eye, pinned in a Pacific Heights group. Prayers for the Carter family, betrayed by their own daughter, Emma, who cut them off after the explosion. A comment stabs deeper. Heard she's hoarding her tech millions while her family starves. I stare at the screen, my pulse steady but cold. They're rewriting me as the villain, the greedy heiress who turned her back on blood. I'm not surprised. I'm not even angry. I'm awake. I start typing, a new document titled "What I Paid For." Line by line, I list every dollar I spent on them. $217,430.92 over 8 years. Mortgage payments, Olivia's emergency, vet bills, Lucas's failed ventures, Margaret's wine club dues. Every time I ate ramen to cover their car payments, every night I worked late to fund their dreams while mine waited, I BCC the email to every cousin, every family friend, every socialite Margaret bragged to at galas. At the bottom, I write, "You cannot disown someone you never welcomed." My finger hovers over send, but I don't click yet. Not because I'm afraid, but because I want to be sure. A noise outside, a sharp crack, like glass breaking. I freeze, my hand on the laptop. The motel's parking lot is dark, but I see a shadow move near my car. My heart kicks up, the brake line incident fresh in my mind. I grab my phone, dial 911, but hesitate. No proof, no witnesses. just a gut screaming that this isn't random. I slip to the window, peek through the blinds. A figure in a hoodie lingers by my SUV, then vanishes into the alley. My breath catches. I check the door. Still locked, chair still wedged. But I don't sleep. I sit, laptop open, the email unsent, the napkin note in my pocket like a talisman. Morning comes, gray and heavy. I drive to the co-working space in Selma, the one I'd funded to help freelancers like I used to be. The receptionist, Mia, recognizes me. "Emma, been ages since your TEDx talk." She doesn't ask why I'm here. No laptop bag, just a haunted look. She hands me a key card for a desk by the window. I sit, the city sprawling outside, and open my banking app. Another unauthorized withdrawal attempt on the old joint account with Margaret denied. I reset every password, lock every account, my fingers moving faster now, fueled by clarity. They didn't just forget me, they erased me. Another ex post pops up, this one from Olivia. Some people forget family when the money runs dry. The comments pile on, calling me cold, selfish, a traitor. I don't flinch. I keep typing, adding to my email. The truth isn't pretty, but it's mine. I think of Aunt Clara, the only relative who ever saw me. She'd called last week, her voice soft over coffee in a mission cafe. "Your mother bragged about your money, Emma, not your heart. She called you practical, not loving." I'd blinked back tears, realizing I'd been chasing a love that didn't exist. They didn't want me. They wanted my bank account. My phone buzzes. Lucas again. I answer this time, my voice steady. "What?" he stammers. "You've made your point, Emma. Stop this." "Mom didn't mean it." I cut him off. "She meant it when I was dripping wet, homeless, and begging. You all did." Silence. Then, "We thought you were stronger." I laugh, cold and sharp. "Stronger? You thought I was a machine. When did you know about the explosion, Lucas?" A pause. 2 days ago. My chest tightens. "And you didn't tell me?" He mumbles, "I thought Olivia did." I hang up. The lie is clear. They didn't forget. They chose. I drive to the county clerk's office, the email still unsent. The building is drab, fluorescent lights flickering like they're on their last legs. I slide the insurance policy across the counter, the one delivered to the motel, with my name crossed out. The clerk, Deborah, squints at it. "Beneficiary changed to Olivia Carter 3 weeks before the explosion," she says. "You're not listed." I nod, my voice calm. "That's all I need." Outside, I sit in my car, the policy in my lap. They'd planned this. Before the explosion, before the fire, before I was homeless. They'd erased me. The sun dips low, painting the city gold. I drive to the estate's ruins, the air thick with the ghost of smoke. The mansion is a carcass. Charred beams, broken glass, the porch collapse like a broken promise. I step over debris, my boots crunching. Something glints in the rubble. A scorched photo frame. Me and Margaret at my high school graduation. I'm smiling, clueless. She's posing, perfect. The frame was left to burn, like me. I tuck it under my arm, not for nostalgia, but for proof. Proof they discarded me long before the flames. Back at the motel, I open my laptop. The email is ready. I read it once, twice, my heart steady. I hit send. The family group chat explodes. Olivia's caps-locked rage, Margaret's demands, Lucas's silence. I mute it. My phone buzzes again. A voicemail from an unknown number. I play it, expecting another plea. Instead, a man's voice, low and unfamiliar. "You're digging too deep, Emma. Stop, or the next accident won't miss." The line goes dead. My pulse spikes, but I don't panic. I save the voicemail, forward it to my lawyer, and check the locks again. The napkin note sits on the nightstand. "You were never invisible." I hold it tight, my armor against the dark. This isn't over. They wanted a villain. I'll give them a survivor. The motel room is a tomb of silence, broken only by the hum of the heater and the faint buzz of my phone on the nightstand. I don't pick it up. I know who's calling. Olivia, Margaret, maybe Lucas. Their voices sharp with accusations, panic, or both. The voicemail from the unknown number still echoes in my head. You're digging too deep, Emma. Stop, or the next accident won't miss. My fingers tighten around the napkin note from the diner. You were never invisible. Its ink smudged but steady, like a pulse. I'm not invisible, not anymore. But I'm not safe either. The brake line sabotage, the shadow by my car last night, the insurance policy with my name scratched out. They're not coincidences. They're moves in a game I didn't know I was playing. And I'm done being a pawn. I'm Emma Carter, the tech heiress who bankrolled my family's gilded life for 8 years, only to be cast out when I needed them most. The Pacific Heights mansion I paid for is ash, my loft is a flooded ruin, and my family's betrayal is a wound that won't stop bleeding. But I'm not broken. I've sent an email exposing their greed to every relative, every socialite, every pastor they charmed with my money. The fallout is coming, and so is the fight. I'm not just surviving. I'm rewriting the story they tried to erase me from. The morning sun slices through the motel's stained blinds, painting the room in streaks of gold and gray. I haven't slept, not really. My eyes burn, but my mind is razor-sharp, sorting through the pieces of this mess like code that won't compile. The insurance policy sits on the desk, its crossed-out beneficiary line, my name replaced by Olivia's, glaring like a confession. I trace the ink with my finger, the slanted scrawl of Margaret's handwriting unmistakable. 3 weeks before the explosion, they rewrote me out. Not after the fire, not in a moment of panic, but deliberately, coldly, before the flames even sparked. My chest tightens, not with hurt, but with clarity. This wasn't an accident. It was a plan. I grab my laptop and head to the Soma co-working space, the one I'd funded with $10,000 0-cent checks to keep its doors open for dreamers like I used to be. The receptionist, Mia, nods as I enter, her smile warm but cautious, like she senses the storm I'm carrying. "Same desk?" she asks. I nod, settling by the window, the city sprawling below like a chessboard. I open my banking app, checking for more unauthorized withdrawals. Another attempt, this one from Margaret's account. Flagged and denied. Good. I lock the account tighter, my fingers flying across the keyboard. They thought I'd cave, that I'd wire the money back to save their image. They don't know me at all. My phone buzzes. Olivia's name on the screen. I let it ring, but her text pops through. "You're being cruel. We're family. You're overreacting." Overreacting, the word is a slap, but I don't flinch. I'm past that. I drive to the county clerk's office, the insurance policy tucked in my bag like evidence. The building's fluorescent lights flicker, the air heavy with bureaucracy. Deborah, the clerk, confirms what I already know. "You're not listed as a beneficiary, Ms. Carter." Olivia Carter was updated 3 weeks prior. I nod, my voice steady. "Thank you." Outside, I sit in my car, the policy in my lap, the weight of it heavier than paper. They didn't just erase me from their future, they tried to erase me from their path. The city hums around me, oblivious to the war I'm fighting. I drive to the Pacific Heights ruins, the mansion's skeletons stark against the morning sky. Charred beams jut like broken bones, the air thick with the ghost of smoke. I step over debris, my boots crunching glass. The scorched photo frame I found yesterday, me and Margaret at my graduation, sits in my car. A relic of a lie I once believed. I kneel in the rubble, searching for anything else they left behind. My fingers brush something cold. A singed locket, the one I gave Margaret for her 50th birthday. I'd saved for months to buy it, skipping meals to afford the engraving, "Forever Family." It's blackened now, the chain snapped. I pocket it, not for sentiment, but for proof. They didn't just abandon me, they discarded me. A car engine revs nearby, too close. I stand, my pulse spiking. A black sedan idles across the street, its tinted windows hiding the driver. My gut screams, "Danger!" The brake line, the shadow last night, the voicemail. I back away, keeping the ruins between me and the car. It doesn't move, but I feel its stare. I slip behind a collapsed wall, my breath shallow, and wait. 10 seconds, 20. The sedan pulls away, slow and deliberate, like a predator circling back later. I don't relax. I run to my SUV, lock the doors, and check the mirrors. Nothing. But I'm not naive anymore. Someone's watching. Back at the motel, I open my laptop and pull up the fire report, now public on the city's database. My fingers tremble as I type the address, 1420 Sycamore Drive. The report loads, clinical and cold. Cause, rigged gas valve, tampered pressure regulator. Not faulty lines, like Olivia claimed. Not an accident, like Margaret implied. Sabotage. My breath catches. The report details a valve deliberately set to overpressure, a spark from a frayed wire igniting the gas. The explosion wasn't chance, it was engineered. And I was supposed to be in that house. I'd planned to visit that night, a rare dinner with Margaret to catch up. She'd canceled last minute, her voice oddly curt. Now I know why. My phone lights up. Another unknown number. I hesitate, then play the voicemail, the same low voice, colder now. You're still digging, Emma. Bad choice. My heart pounds, but I save the message, forward it to my lawyer, Armand. He's a shark in a suit, the kind who doesn't flinch at dirty fights. I call him, my voice steady despite the adrenaline. "Armand, they're threatening me. Voicemails, a tampered car, now this fire report. It's not an accident." He's quiet for a moment, then says, "Send me everything." And Emma? Don't go anywhere alone. I hang up, my eyes scanning the motel room. The chair under the doorknob isn't enough anymore. I drag the dresser across the door, my arms burning with the effort. I need answers, not fear. I drive to a cafe in the Mission, a quiet spot with exposed brick and baristas who don't ask questions. I sit in a corner booth, my laptop open, and search X for posts about the explosion. Olivia's latest. Some people turn their backs when family needs them most. Shame on you, Emma. The comments are a pile-on, strangers calling me a tech brat, a heartless millionaire. I scroll past, my jaw tight, until I find a post from an anonymous account. The Carter fire wasn't what it seems. Check the gas company records. My pulse quickens. I dig into the utility records, hacking skills I haven't used since college coming back like muscle memory. There it is. A maintenance request for 1420 Sycamore, filed by Margaret 2 months ago, marked urgent. The gas company never followed up, or someone made sure they didn't. A shadow falls across my table. I look up, my hand instinctively closing the laptop. A man in a gray hoodie stands too close, his face half hidden by the hood. "You're Emma Carter," he says. Not a question. My throat tightens, but I keep my voice calm. "Who's asking?" He smirks, his eyes cold. "Someone who knows you're stirring trouble. Walk away, or you won't like what's next." He's gone before I can respond, slipping out the door into the crowd. My hands shake as I reopen the laptop, but I don't stop. I screenshot the records, email them to Armand, and text Mia at the co-working space. "Can I get a key card for after hours?" I'm not hiding, but I'm not stupid either. The cafe's warmth feels suffocating now. I pay and leave, checking my mirrors as I drive to the public library. It's a sanctuary, quiet and neutral, the kind of place where no one looks twice at a woman with a laptop and a haunted stare. I settle in a corner, pulling up the family's financials. My spreadsheet, $217,430.92 spent on them, sits open, a ledger of my naivety. I cross-regulate with bank records, and there it is, 3 wire transfers in my name, $15,000, 0 cents each, to an account I don't recognize. Forged signatures, sloppy but confident. Olivia's work, I'd bet. She always had a knack for mimicking my handwriting. I save the evidence, my mind racing. They didn't just take my money, they stole my identity. A text from Aunt Clara lights up my phone. Meet me at the pier, 3 p.m. We need to talk. Clara's the only one who ever saw me, not my bank account. I drive to Fisherman's Wharf, the air sharp with salt and seagull cries. Clara's waiting by a bench, her gray curls tucked under a scarf, her eyes sharp despite her age. She hands me a coffee, her voice low. Your mother always bragged about your money, Emma, never your heart. She called you cold, but she leaned on you without guilt. I swallow, the truth a bitter pill. I thought she was proud of me. Clara shakes her head. She was proud of your usefulness. They all were. Her words crack something open, a grief I didn't know I was carrying. I'd spent years chasing their love, believing if I gave enough, money, time, forgiveness, they'd see me. But they never did. Clara touches my arm. You're not alone, Emma, but be careful. They're desperate now. As we part, a tourist bumps into me, hard. I stumble, catching myself on a railing. My bag feels lighter. I check it. My wallet's gone. Not a coincidence. I scan the crowd, but the thief is gone, swallowed by the chaos of the pier. My cards are locked, but the message is clear. They're closing in. Back at the motel, I find a courier envelope slipped under the door. No name, just my room number in sharp cursive. Inside, a single page, a forged will naming Olivia as sole heir to the family trust I'd set up. My signature, faked, sits at the bottom. The date? 6 months ago. My blood runs cold. They didn't just want my money. They wanted everything. I call Armand, my voice shaking but firm. They forged a will. I need you to bury them. He chuckles, grim. Send it over. We'll make them regret it. I scan the document, email it, and double-check the locks. The chair under the doorknob isn't enough anymore. I drag the dresser across the door, my arms burning with the effort. Night falls, and the motel feels like a cage. I open my laptop, pulling up the email I sent yesterday, what I paid for. The family group chat is a war zone. Olivia's all-caps rants, Margaret's demands for me to fix this, cousins piling on with guilt trips. I'm muted, but not before Olivia's latest message. You ruined us, Emma. Mom's blood pressure is through the roof. You'll pay for this. I lean back, the words sinking in. They think I'm punishing them. They don't see that I'm surviving them. A knock at the door, sharp and heavy. My heart stops. I peer through the peephole. Margaret, her face a mask of fury, rain plastering her designer coat to her frame. Emma, open the door, now! I hesitate, then crack it, the dresser still blocking the way. She pushes past, her heels clicking on the carpet like a countdown. You've created a disaster, she says, her voice ice. Olivia's mortgage is stalled. Your father can't face his golf buddies. You've humiliated us. I stand still, letting her words fall like spent bullets. This isn't about money, she snaps. It's about how you've made us look. I blink, the truth so clear it hurts. That's what matters to you? How you look? She flinches, but her eyes harden. People talk, Emma. They assume things. I nod, slow. Let them. Her face twists, but I keep going. For years, I gave you everything, money, time, my life, not because you asked nicely, but because I thought you'd see me. Not my bank account, me. She says nothing, her silence louder than any scream. I funded your image, not your love. That stops now. She laughs, bitter and sharp. So what? You want us to beg? I shake my head. No, I want you to survive the way I did. Alone, without thanks. Her hand tightens on her purse, her knuckles white. You think you're better than us? I meet her gaze. No, I just stopped pretending I'm less. She freezes, then turns to the door, her hand hesitating on the knob. For a second, I think she'll say something real. Sorry, maybe, or even, I need you. But she doesn't. The door clicks shut, and she's gone. I sink onto the bed, my breath shaky but free. The room feels bigger, like I've reclaimed the space. I open the laptop, the email still open. I read it one last time, then hit send again, ensuring every recipient gets it. The group chat erupts, but I don't look. I'm done with their noise. My phone buzzes, a call from Armand. Olivia and her husband filed a countersuit, he says. Emotional distress, financial disruption. It's weak, but they're desperate. I laugh, a real one this time. Let them try. I've got the receipts. He chuckles. That's my girl. Stay sharp. The next morning, I drive to a new motel. Cleaner, quieter, in the marina. The air feels fresher, like the city's giving me a second chance. I check in, my bag lighter now, just the essentials and the locket. I sit at the desk, open my laptop, and pull up the fire report again. The rigged gas valve haunts me. I search deeper, cross-referencing utility records with Margaret's maintenance request. A name pops up. A technician who signed off on the inspection that never happened. I Google him. A lowlife with a rap sheet for fraud, linked to a shell company Olivia once used for her design business. My stomach twists. They didn't just neglect the house. They set it up to burn. A noise outside, a screech of tires. I rush to the window, my heart in my throat. A black sedan, the same one from the ruins, peels out of the lot. I grab my phone, snap a photo of the license plate, blurry but usable. I send it to Armand with a note. Track this. It's them. My hands shake, but I don't stop. I'm not prey anymore. I'm the hunter. I head to the library, needing a neutral space to think. The archivist, a woman with kind eyes, pulls news articles from 7 months ago about the fire. One headline stops me cold. Carter family devastated. Eldest daughter steps up. The article praises Olivia's GoFundMe, which raised $30,000, 0 cents in days. Photos show her and Margaret in front of the ruins, arms around each other, survivors of a tragedy. I'm not mentioned. Not a hint, not a footnote. I read it twice, my chest tight. They didn't just erase me. They rewrote me out of their victory. I whisper to myself. I didn't walk away. They erased me. The words are a vow. I drive to the cemetery, to my grandmother's grave. Nana Grace, the only one who saw my heart, not my wallet. She'd stayed up with me at 12, gluing sequins to my science fair project, whispering, Your mind's a gift, Emma. Don't let them steal it. Me and her at the zoo, her with ice cream on her cheek, me gap-toothed and laughing. I tuck it behind the marker, sealed in plastic. You'd tell me not to fight fire with fire, I murmur. But you'd also say, Don't let them burn your name, baby. The sun sets as I drive to my new apartment. A modest 1-bedroom in the marina. Bare walls, chipped counters, but it's mine. I set my bag down, the locket and photo frame on the table. My spreadsheet, $217,430.92 of love I thought I was buying, sits beside them. I scribble a new title. Proof of worth. Love without respect isn't love. It's debt, and I'm done paying. A knock at the door, 3 sharp raps. I freeze, my hand on the locket. Through the peephole, Olivia stands, her face bare, no makeup, her hair limp. She looks broken. But I know better. I crack the door, my voice cold. What? She doesn't blink. We need to talk. I grab my keys, lock the door, and lead her to a cafe nearby, a no-fill spot with fluorescent lights and chipped mugs. We sit in a booth, her hands clenched, knuckles pale. Mom's losing it, she says, staring at the table. She thinks you're out to destroy her. Dad's a ghost, just sits in his study. They think you're punishing them. I stir my coffee, slow, deliberate. And you? What do you think? Her eyes meet mine, wet with something. Guilt, maybe, or fear? You were the glue, Emma. We fell apart without you. I lean back, my voice steady. You kicked me out, Olivia. Called me a stray. You built your life on my money, not my love. She flinches, but I keep going. You don't see me. You see what I give. She opens her mouth, closes it. No words come. We pay separately, and I walk ahead, no goodbye. At night, I light a match, burn a letter I wrote to them. I loved you enough to carry you. Now I love myself enough to let go. The ashes fall into a bowl, and I feel clean. The next morning, a letter arrives from a nonprofit I applied to. Welcome, Emma, as our financial literacy mentor. I smile, tucking it into a folder labeled Start Here. My apartment is quiet, mine. No family photos, no demands, just peace. A final voicemail from Margaret buzzes through. I delete it. No guilt. The fight's not over, but I'm ready. They wanted a villain. I'll be their reckoning.